Hello, you're listening to Count Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi. Today is Friday, the 6th of September, and a very beautiful and nice day it was too. Highs reaching 24 degrees at some stage, and I think it's around even 18 degrees now. Now, I suppose the purpose of this video really is that I was over in Tala on, would have been Tuesday afternoon, and this aircraft flew overhead and landed in Baldonnel. Now, it's Cessna Citation, registration number VJH357, and this was the plane that it landed in Baldonnel and then dropped the Taoiseach Simon Harris out to Ukraine with a check of $36 million in his hand to give President Zelensky. Now, it's supposed to read, there's two aspects to this video. One is the interest. Actually, I'm just going to slow that down a bit. It's a little bit too quick for me. The interest, how interesting it is to actually see what is actually going through Irish skies. And, what do we got here? Manchester to Orlando, an Airbus 350. So plenty of activity over the skies there. But also, I suppose the purpose of my video really is that just to comment on the fact that the Irish government jet, which was flying on Monday, became unserviceable, resulting in the hire of this Cessna Citation, which I've actually seen here before. It was hired by the government back in the 21st of June of this year for a couple of trips as well. But just to note that the government, VistaJet is actually the company that have a couple of these planes and a couple of Bombardier 6000, which the government have also used. There's another VistaJet coming in there now. Let's see where he's coming from. And he's coming from Manchester, and that's Bombardier 6000. Believe it or not, the same type aircraft that Dennis O'Brien has, but I think this one is actually flying into Dublin Airport rather than Baldonnel. So you can see it's like a petri dish of watching the in and out of what's coming in and out. But just also to note that the Air Corps at the moment now has PC-12 Pilatus aircraft, which are turboprop single-engined, very good performance, and but believe it or not, they're actually not good enough for the government crew, personnel, as the government will only fly in twin-engined aircraft rather than single-engined, even though the PC-12s have an impeccable record. And also, the company hired, which in this case is VistaJet, must have no links with Russia or any of the aviation leasing companies in Russia. Now, I've just spotted this one here now, and I'm going to put a little search on that one. And this one here, Capital Air Ambulance Services. So it's interesting to note now. Actually, no, that's not the one I want. Yeah, that's a Capital. The number of air ambulance runs as well is also very interesting. But to note also that and the aircraft must be capable of carrying dangerous goods, in particular guns and ammunition, to facilitate armed protection for ministers, and crew members must be willing to sign a confidentiality agreement surrounding all planning, preparation and execution of any aspects of these operations. But the government from June 23 to June 24 spent 1.3 million hiring private jets for 18 trips. Imagine that. And 11 by the former Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, 5 by Simon Harris and 2 for Micheál Martin. It's also interesting to look at the RAF there. The amount of aircraft they have in their Air Force, quite extraordinary. You can see the manoeuvres there of the PC-12, which is equivalent, they call it a Texan, which is very similar to the PC-9s that the Irish Air Corps have. There we go. We have another next jet coming in there, and that's from Farnborough into Dublin. So it's quite a busy operation run by Next Jets. But also, the Air Corps the government's announced that they're going to do another tender for a new private jet, which would be up to the value of 45 million, which is an extraordinary amount of money. But you can see, as I have a passion for airplanes, and I find it very interesting to see what's going overhead. And also for those that, there you go, Las Vegas to London now. What have we got there? An Airbus A350. Beautiful plane. And there's Etihad. They fly the 777. There we go, Boeing 777 Dreamliner. 240 feet long, if my memory serves me correct. There's another private one coming in there, and that is from Cranfield to Dublin. But also, just to add as well, with the also the other purpose of my video really is to comment that last night there was an interview with Jeffrey Sachs on TV3's Tonight program, and it was an extremely interesting interview. And Jeffrey Sachs served as director of the Earth Institute at Columbia University from 2002 until 2016. He's the author of many books and has been advisors to the World Health Organization, World Bank, the IMF, and has many publications, approximately over 100 publications in columns in more than 100 countries. So he's a very prolific writer, and I would also say that I would put Sachs on par with John Perkins, who wrote that book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which I would strongly recommend. But also, as I say, just to go back to the flight radar, I find it very interesting to watch just the amount of air activity, and every now and again you can see something unusual. And also there last week I spotted a new helicopter out in Weston, and it was an Augusta Westland 189, which is now being used by the Irish Coast Guard, and a new tender has been put out with, there's another private jet there, let's see where he's gone, another Farnborough to Dublin. But it will be for 6 helicopters and 2 fixed-wing aircraft, which the fixed wing being 2 de Havilland Otters, which will be used with search and rescue, air ambulance capabilities. And some of them will be actually based in Weston. So if you're passing Weston, also I have to say it's interesting to note too that the amount of times that the government jet, the CASA Maritime Patrol aircraft, and the PC-12s are actually based in Weston. They land in Weston rather than Baldonnel. Let's see what this helicopter is. That appears to be the search and rescue. That's the old ones that are operated by Canadian Helicopter Corporation. So by all accounts it looks as if it's been involved either with a training exercise or a rescue. But that interview anyway, I'm going to leave a link to that. I think it's very important that he gave a very it's the first time I've heard a very balanced account of the situation regarding the Ukraine and how the geopolitical chess game ended up in the situation where it is now. And the only thing I think that he missed out on was to mention that during the Obama administration, Victoria Nuland boasted about spending the $5 billion US staging the coup in 2014. Also, I suppose he didn't mention the Soros involvement in the Maidan. And there, just go take a look at any couple of the RAF ones there, see what they have. Looks like a real Air Force, isn't it, with some jets. You know, what do we got there? That's the BAE Systems Hawk, same aircraft that the Red Arrows use. And but it's a very interesting app to have on your phone, and you can see some very interesting things. But as I say, I'm going to leave the links to. I'll just actually give you an idea what it's like when you zoom it out. Isn't that extraordinary? It's like a petri dish of activity, and but it's a great app to have on your phone, and you know, as I say, it's interesting to watch the number of private jets that go in and out of Weston, and we certainly have a busy skies around Ireland. Imagine 36 million people travel in and out of Dublin Airport. So there you go. So I'm going to leave a link to that TV3 programme. The Reykjavik to Shannon, another private one. Another Cessna citation. And so it's on after about 23 minutes into the video. So I'll say good night, good luck, and God bless.